Hey everyone, welcome to our next workout. I'm back in the studio and today we are focusing on core, okay? And so, quick little spiel. Core is often linked with abs or synonymous with abs or ab work. And I just want to be super clear. And apologies if you've heard this spiel from me a million times. But core is sort of three-dimensional around this section of your body. So the function of the core is to support your spine and your pelvis. And really how we work our core well is training the small muscles to stabilize this area. So the absence of movement is often some of the best core exercises, meaning we are moving our arms, we are moving our legs, and our core is working to keep this area nice and stable, okay? So I will talk about this more as we go through the exercises, but I want you to keep it in mind because I get asked all the time, like, what are the best core exercises to do? And to be perfectly honest, if you can understand the fundamentals of how to engage or work your core, you should be in charge of being able to figure out if a core exercise is good or appropriate for you. And we'll talk about this as we go through the common ways our body will sort of find alternate ways to get stability, okay? And what we're trying to do is rein in using those deep core muscles to provide the stability. So as soon as you start using alternate strategies, it's a clue to you that your body is not tapping into the right resource, okay? And that we're sort of cheating, for lack of a better word. And from that information, then you start to become very aware of what exercises are appropriate, what are maybe too challenging, what feels super easy, and you just set your own program from that. And if I can empower you to be able to have that information and be able to guide yourself into what's appropriate for exercise, then it's the best thing I can do. So that when you go and do your classes or you do your own workouts, you have that foundation. So enough chatting from me. Who do I kid? I'm going to keep chatting, but we're going to get into some exercises, okay? So I like to work the core by getting you into a variety of positions, but we're going to start today on our back. So throw down a mat. You're going to need no equipment today other than your own body, and we're going to start on our backs. So I want you to lie down, and I want you to have your knees bent. And when you get into this position, let me just tilt this slightly. We don't need to see the window, we need to see my back. So when you get into this position, there should naturally be a little curve. I call it like the mouse hole, like a little mouse could crawl through of your low back, okay? So the first thing to be aware of is with the movements we're about to do, if the curve of that spine changes, then you need to rein in the exercise, okay? So for a lot of people, the way it will change is we either flatten the curve to try and create some more stability by pushing into the ground, or as we move our legs especially, we start to arch that spine, okay? So I want you to be focused, pay attention to what's happening through that lower back as we start to move our bodies. The second thing, sorry guys, I need to reset my screensaver so it doesn't come on so quickly. The second thing to be aware of is that working your core is all about how you manage pressure through your abdomen. So the second kind of cheat that we'll do is, in order to create stability, we increase the pressure. So that usually manifests in ways of holding our breath, of like a bearing down motion, or bulging through our belly, okay? And essentially what we're doing is we're trying to use pressure instead of the musculature to provide stability. So be mindful of that. You should be breathing throughout, and I will cue the breathing. I also like to have a hand on the belly to sort of monitor that I'm not increasing pressure and pushing that belly out, okay? And usually, again, it's a telltale sign of when the exercise gets too challenging, we'll sort of default to that mode. So I want you to lie here. I want you to take a few breaths in. Inhale and exhale. Now with core stuff, I really like to promote moving on the exhale. So inhale to prepare. And then exhale, lift one leg up into a tabletop position. Again, there should be no change to that back curve. Now inhale again. And then exhale, try to lift that second leg up without that belly bulging, without that back arching. And shockingly, this is actually quite challenging to do if you haven't done a lot of deep core work. If that feels challenging, like your whole body kind of moves to do it, then what I want you to do is start to take the weight out of your heel, into your toes, and then work your way up. So it's just a slower progression. Good. And then pause if you need to here to work through that until you get it. If your legs are up here and you're maintaining pressure well, the back arch stays the same, then I want you to take a deep breath in, and you're going to just move one knee out slightly, and then it comes back in. It's not too far. Exhale as you do it, just to dial up what you're feeling through that midsection. So the muscles should be working through your abdomen, but you're not bulging that belly out. It should be staying nice and flat as you move. So when my hand is here, I feel the muscles are in tone, or they're tense under there, but as I move the leg out, I'm not bulging my belly, okay? Move those legs. If you are postpartum and you are worried about ab separation, the principles stay the same. So when the belly bulges out, or you get coning, or you're increasing pressure there, is when you're putting stress on that separation. If you're able to maintain your breath and rein in the movement to a zone where you can control it and keep that belly nice and flat, then you're doing great. Good. If you start to feel this going into your back, then I want you to just reset. Okay? You want majority of the work right now to feel like it's coming more from the front, and focus your attention there. You may need to try and tuck these top ribs a little bit to get some more focus through the top. Good. Now what I want you to do here is everyone's legs will have naturally migrated in because that feels easier. I want you to bring them out a little bit. Now hold them here, and you're just going to do tiny little flutters with the leg. Keep breathing. Keep talking so that you know you're not holding your breath. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if that doesn't feel like a challenge, your knees are too far in. Goodness gracious, I'm going to have to keep resetting this. Okay, so back up, here we are. Good. Now, third one, I want you to bring those legs out to where you feel a challenge, but that back's not arching. I'm just going to move my hands out of the way so you guys can see. And then from here, we're dropping one knee out to the side and back in. If you get clicking through your back, don't worry too much about it, but just rein in the range of motion, so don't move that leg so far. I want you to focus your eyes on the knee that stays behind each time, that it doesn't move the opposite way. So it stays directly vertical as the other leg moves, creating some torque, force around the pelvis. Again, your core is working here to not allow your whole body to go with you like this. Okay, so again, it's that absence of movement. It's being able to stabilize your pelvis and your low back while the hip and leg are moving. It's dissociating the movement of your hip from your pelvis. That's how we really work this core. Good. Keep going here. If it's getting easy, move those knees away. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring one leg down, second leg down. Shake things out a little bit if you need to. We're going to stay in the same position for a couple more exercises. So take a deep breath in. One leg comes up, second leg comes up. Good. Now from here, I want you to put your hands on your knees. That arch in the back should still remain. And then you're going to push your hands into your knees and your knees into your hands. So it doesn't look like I'm doing anything here, but I'm exerting an equal force upwards with my knees and downward with my hands. You're in charge of how much you push. Again, it will look like I'm doing pretty much nothing. But if you're doing this with me, you will feel how hard this feels. And hold 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring everything in for a hot second. And then we're going to do another set. Bring those legs out. Feel where that challenge starts to kick in through the midsection. and then we push. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those legs in. Let's do a third set. Why not? Bring those legs out, and then we push. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring those legs in, and then bring them down. Last set here on our back, or last exercise. Hands on the belly, lift one leg up. This should be starting to get a bit easier. Lift the second leg up. Good. And then the motion, I'm going to show you 2 variations. We're tapping the toes down, keeping the same bend at the knees. So we're not straightening our leg at all. We're just tapping the toes down, keeping a right angle at our knee. Now, you can see here that as I tap down, I wait for that leg to come all the way up before the next one moves. That's variation 1. Variation 2, if you want to kick this up about 10 notches, is I tap down. As I start to lift, my opposite leg moves. Subtle, subtle difference makes a massive difference when you're doing this, of what you feel through that midsection. You should only be moving as fast as I'm moving here. That back arch stays the same. Belly stays flat. Breathing. Keep going. 8, 7, 6, 5. Lost my screen. 4, 3. I hope this is still recording. 2, and 1. Good. Bring those legs in. Bring them down for a stretch. Good timing. We will switch it up to a new position. Okay, so you should feel things are dialed up a little bit through that midsection. And now we are going to come into a seated position. So curl-ups or sit-ups seem to be the enemy of many people, or they get kind of a bad rap, especially postpartum. But they're an incredibly functional exercise, and I tell almost everyone I see to do them. So we're just going to walk through the fundamentals. So what you're going to do is bring your arms out. Your back is nice and straight. And then from here, what I want you to do is you're just going to start to lean back. So we're not rounding or rolling through our back. We're staying up on our sit bones, and we're just leaning or hinging our torso back till you feel things amp up through that midsection. Good. Now, once you hit that point, you feel your midsection working. Now I want you to start to round, and you're going to come down one vertebrae at a time. Keep breathing, keep talking, don't increase that pressure. Good. Bring your arms overhead for a stretch now. When you come down here, your feet should be fairly far away from you. Okay? Just a slight bend in the knees like mine. Inhale here. You're going to exhale and start to curl up. Now, for many of you, you're going to get to a position like this and feel a little bit stuck. Like you can't go any further without like eating yourself up. If that's the case, I want you to hold onto your legs and pull yourself up by walking your hands up. Really try to keep those feet down and not use the legs for momentum. Same thing here. Lean back, feel that midsection working, and then slowly we roll down. Keep breathing all the way down. Inhale for a stretch. Exhale, curl up. And then if you need to, walk those hands up the legs. You should feel like there's very little pressure through your hands, or none at all, if you can do this without holding on. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, lean back. And then we roll down, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Let's make a nice smooth motion. Pause quickly there, and then up we come. If this feels really challenging and nearly impossible, sorry everyone, gotta keep resetting this. If this feels really hard, then it's a great challenge to challenge yourself to. Sometimes people need like just a touch of pressure at their feet to not want to use their legs, but really work on your core controlling this movement as you come up. A second thing to think about is at any point if someone was to tell me to pause, I should have control of that movement, and that's how you know you're not using momentum. So I come pause, 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 and I'm not falling over. My core is controlling that whole movement right through the full range. Good, let's do a couple more. Come up, and up we go. And then lean and roll back down one vertebrae. Pause in that midsection that's so hard. Try and come back up. Roll down, pause in that midsection, and come back up. Lean back, roll, pause, and come back up. Let's go all the way down this time. Lean back, roll down, good, and then coming all the way back up. Inhale, and up we come. Excellent. Okay, next exercise we're gonna do is in 4-point. Hands and knees. Okay, so many of you will have heard me talk a lot about this. I'm not a massive plank fan, not because the exercise isn't a great exercise, but because the intention of it for a lot of people is just how long they can hold it for. And usually the position or the way in which they get into it's not always the greatest. So I always like to start in quadruped like this to work into a plank. So what you're gonna do here is hands are spread nice and wide, or fingers are spread wide, hands are underneath your shoulders. And the first thing you're gonna do is really think of lifting up through your chest. So you're not sinking into those shoulders, you're lifting up and out, and you should feel things sort of dial up in through this area as you do that, okay? You have just a nice natural curve in your low back. We're not rounding or tucking our bum, nor are we sticking it out and dropping our belly. Okay, find a neutral spine there. Another cue people like is that my rib cage is directly parallel or in line with my pelvis. Okay, from here, keep those arms lifted or that chest lifted. Take a deep breath, and you're gonna hover the knees. Now, as soon as you do this, you should feel that midsection working. You can see as I lift from here to here, there's no change in the shape of my abdomen. Okay, I'm not pushing it out. I'm not holding my breath. I can talk. And we're gonna hold here for 3, 2, 1. Drop down for a second. Take a deep breath in there. Exhale, lift up. 3, 2, 1. Quick drop down. Inhale this time, stay up. And then you're gonna send one leg back and the second leg back. And this is how we would get into a high plank. Much better alignment. I'm lifted through my shoulders. My midsection is in a nice neutral position, ribs stacked over pelvis, legs are long. Okay? Then bring them back in just to that hover position. Then bring them back out into a plank. Then bring them back to a hover. Now, if you find going back into that plank, your belly starts to want to bulge or push out, then don't go back into it. Stay with knees in here. Good, let's do a couple more. Out. And in. And out. And in. Last one, out. And in. Good, bring those knees down and you can stretch back for the love of Jesus. Stay on, computer. Guys, you know me in tech. I don't even know how to change the setting. So I'm hoping this is all recording. Good. Okay, so we just worked in 4-point, we've worked in seated, we've worked on our back. We're not gonna work in standing today. We're gonna finish things up actually, drawing a blank where we were going with this, where I was going with this. Let's go back to 4-point. So I totally mentally forgot what I was gonna do. So here we're gonna stay down on your knees. Same alignment in through here, lift it up through the shoulders, and then we're gonna send one leg back, okay? Keep that leg nice and long and straight, like someone's pulling your leg back towards the opposite wall of the room, and our hips are nice and level. Now lift the opposite arm. Really, really long, and that's important because a lot of people kind of have these like limpy arms and legs. Long, 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 like someone's pulling each in either direction. Keep that midsection nice and strong, so we're not sagging through here. Keep it strong, and then we're going to do tiny pulses with the arm and the leg. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it there, and now move arm and leg away from one another, out to the sides. 7, 6, 5, really feel your core having to work to resist that motion. 4, 3, 2, nice and powerful through the arm and leg. Hold them up there, and then you're drawing little circles. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the hand down, bring the knee down. Take a deep breath, reset if you need to. Make sure those ribs are lifted up. Okay? Make sure you're lifted up through the shoulders. And then opposite leg and arm. Keep going with that. Oh, so clunky, Meg. Okay, keep going with that. So opposite leg and arm. And here we go. Pulse. 8, 7, 6. Quick little pulses is what really gets that core fired up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Look to the sides. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay lifted in through the shoulder. Good. And then circles here. 8, 7. Lift those bottom ribs. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it here. Good. Bring the hand and leg in. This is where I was going with this. This was my last one, so we're going to throw this one in. We're going to do a sideways motion, and this gets into a lot of balance. If this bothers your knee, doesn't mean you can stop doing it. Just grab a pillow. Okay, and what you're aiming to do is your body and your leg move as one unit. So as my leg goes out, my body tilts equally in the opposite direction. And what I'm trying to do is not touch my hand to the ground, nor let this leg fall back. And it should feel like it's a constant search for equilibrium that you never quite find. But the better you get at it, the more minute or tiny your movements are. Really centered around your midsection. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You can straighten that leg out if you want extra challenge. 3, 2, 1. Good. Swap to the opposite leg and see if you notice a difference side to side. You can bring that leg out if you want. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold here if you can. Hold it. 1. Good. And then come back up. Excellent, guys. So that hopefully provided you with a good foundation. I always tell people when you do this deep core work, it's less of that like burning stuff you may feel for more like aggressive ab exercises, but you should feel this sense almost like someone's put a corset around your body, or like something is lifting you up against gravity and you're not just sitting in your spine. And that may be the best thing that you can feel, because essentially that is what these muscles are designed to do, is work like a corset, lift us up and out of our joints of our pelvis and our low back. So hopefully you sort of feel that with that foundational work. And this is where you build from as you make the exercises more and more challenging or high level or high intensity. Okay, so I hope you found that helpful, and we will continue to build from here. I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.